Sup world, welcome back to another Endgame guide. This time we're going to be focusing on Flurry, and this is more of an update to the official Maxroll guide on maxroll.gg. This is updated for more fun and to deal more damage, and who doesn't want to deal more damage? So let's dive on in and let's see what changed. Flurry is a core skill that hits targets in front 4 separate times very quickly. When combined with the encircling aspect, this makes the skill hits all around your character for a 360-degree area of effect that does a little more damage than normal. To be quite honest, due to the size of the area of effect, the encircling blaze aspect should really just be baked into the skill itself, but I digress. One of the main advantages of Flurry is that it fires quickly, and the only skill that can not only spread vulnerable to many targets efficiently, but also has the ability to life leech, making for one of the tankiest rogue builds in the game. You can play agile or tank and spank if you would like. Flurry has somewhat of a bad reputation for not outputting decent damage, and that's simply not true. As you can see on the screen yourself, it's possible to consistently hit above 1 mil critical strike damage and even reaching above the 2 million mark per hit. This is more than enough to take out everything necessary farming in-game content, including single target foes like dungeon bosses and even the butcher. Shadow Imbuement takes care of packs, while Poison Imbue mops up the rest and deals with the tougher single target foes. Due to its relatively small area of effect, you need to use dash and shadow step to maneuver into the best positions possible. We use the combo point specialization to gain quite a bit more damage and crazy attack speed to further boost Flurry's power. The skills you want to use are the following: Puncture, Flurry, Shadow Imbuement, Poison Imbuement, Dash, and Shadow Step. The passes you want to include are Sturdy for defense, Siphoning Strikes for extra healing, Exploit Malice, Frigid Finesse, and Weapon Mastery for more damage, Precision Imbuement for more crit chance when Flurry is imbued, Innervation for resources, Haste for movement speed, Reactive Defense for more damage reduction, and the main key passive you'll take is Close Quarters Combat for big damage and additional attack speed. Alright, so let's go over their stats and the gear real quick. I'll try to make this short because this is kind of similar to what the Barrage combo points as well as the Pin Shot combo point builds tend to look for in terms of stats. For weapons, you want the Trifecta, which is going to be crit damage with imbued skills, as well as vulnerable damage. You're going to want that for not just the weapons, but also the rings too. And for the last slot, you want close damage. You can get core damage or dexterity. Both of those work too as well. But if you can get close, that would be preferred for all the choices here. A combination obviously is just going to roll with the preset stats. So can't do anything about that there, but you'll wear that because it's actually pretty good for this build. For the rings, instead of going for close damage, you would still go for the typical trifecta, but you're going to want to roll crit chance because you can't get crit chance anywhere else besides your rings and your gloves. So crit chance takes place of close damage or core damage or dexterity that you could do on weapons. When it comes to amulet, I would suggest going more so utility. So think movement speed, cooldown reduction, energy cost reduction, and things. And if you want a more tanky approach, which is what I kind of did on the Maxroll guide, you would kind of just do cooldown reduction and movement speed and take like close damage reduction as well as pure damage reduction on the amulet to be able to kind of stick around a bit more. When it comes to the helm, you want to do cooldown reduction, armor, life on kill is not something you want. It's just kind of what I had on my helm at the time. But generally speaking, you want armor, max life, ranks to poison imbuement, or just to kind of make sure that your single target things are a little easier to deal with. Coming to the chest, you just want pure damage reduction, damage to close, damage to distance, damage reduction in general, and total armor. You can trade out total armor or actually damage reduction from distant enemies for like maximum life. That's also a good stat to have there too as well. We go to the glove, you want kind of your typical ranks to whatever skill that you're using. In this case, Flurry. So max ranks to Flurry. You want crit chance, you want attack speed, and you want critical strike damage with imbued skills. So going to pants, same thing. Defense is important. You want damage reduction to your distant enemies, close enemies, just pure damage reduction as well. You could trade distant enemies for armor if you want to do it that way as well. But you also do want to take imbuement skill cooldown reduction, because that's important, because you're going to be using imbues quite a bit. So Penitent Greaves is a very important unique to have here. It's going to help with making sure that the other aspects such as cheat perform well as close quarters combat, to make sure that you do have that crowd control. You can still get crowd control outside of it, but this is going to just ensure that it happens as you're fighting, because it has a pretty similar radius, the chill itself, as Flurry does. So as long as you're hitting with Flurry, you're pretty much getting that chill on those similar targets. It's pretty close. So when it comes to aspects, you're going to want to do the Edge Master on the two-hand weapon. It's just more damage. Flurry aspect isn't that great. The Encircling Blades isn't that great in terms of just pure damage, so we're going to put that elsewhere. But you want the Edge Master on a two-hand sword, on the two-hand bow for maximum damage. We take the rapid aspect just to get more attack speed, so we can, shoot faster and build our combo points better. You put your Encircling Blades on a ring for Flurry, because it's only okay. You're just kind of using it for the AoE, not necessarily so much for the damage increase. Here, you want to go Corruption. That's going to help with both your Shadow imbues as well as your Poison imbues to be a little bit more effective. On the amulet, you can either go with cheats or disobedience here. Disobedience is probably slightly better if you can keep up the stacks, pretty high. It's just a lot of armor and makes rogues, have the ability to be, one of the more tankier classes if you can keep the disobedience up quite a bit. But again, keyword is if, right? So coming up here for the helm slot, I like to put the Mangler's aspect here. This is going to allow you to proc daze, and if they're dazed, they can't hit you, which is going to allow you to be able to stay in the fight a bit longer and take less damage, better survivability, etc. Come down here, this is cheats. Again, could be on the amulet or chest, up to you. Put this on the chest for now. And then for the pants, I take might, because of course we're using the basic skills, so it should, for the most part, be up all the time. For gems, go with emeralds. For weapons, you're going to always proc vulnerable. It's super easy to do with Flurry, so you're going to always use emeralds here. You're going to go with skulls in your jury, because armor is just king. Hopefully in the future they will make resistance a little better, but right now skulls is basically best in slot. And then for your armor pieces here, helmet, chest, and pants, you're going to always want to go with topaz. Reason why you don't want to do rubies, even though rubies do give you a little extra life, is that topaz gives you a ton of damage reduction while you're crowd controlled. And usually as a rogue, if you die, you're usually dying because you got crowd controlled. And so being able to get significantly more damage reduction while you are crowd controlled will save your life. It's a really big deal. Make sure you take that. Briefly, this is what your Paragon board would look like. On the starter board, slot closer glyph and path up, taking all damage nodes to the top. Attach exploit weakness board and slot combat glyph. Take the rare nodes shown as well as the exploit weakness legendary node. Attach and rotate the Eldritch bounty board and slot the infusion glyph. Path top left while taking rare nodes shown to take the Eldritch bounty legendary node. Path down to attach and rotate Tricks of the Trade board and slot the turf glyph. Take all rare nodes shown and pick up the Tricks of the Trade legendary node. Path out to the left and attach and rotate no witness board and slot the exploit glyph. Pick up all rare nodes listed. For all glyphs, make sure you max out the stat required within range of your glyphs. And that concludes the Flurry endgame guide. Hope you guys enjoyed the changes and the upgrades that we made to the guide. If you have any comments or questions, please make sure to leave them below. Check out the written guide on maxroll.gg. And as always, till next time.